What is good, YouTube? In this video, you'll explore the events leading up to Sukuna's death and its implication for the Jujutsu Kaisen universe. Sukuna faces multitude of challenges, and understanding these hurdles is a crucial to grasping his eventual demise. One of the primary conflicts he struggled with is his relationship with Megumi. Sukuna talks to Megumi's soul, reminding him of his sins and that he can never return to a normal life, even though Sumiki's death was Sukuna's fault. He basically tells Megumi, how dare you try to live on? You allowed me to take your body. You killed your own sister. You even rejected a hand offered to save you. If you remember back in chapter 6, Megumi told Yuji that the janitor wasn't worth saving because he killed a little girl. Also, Megumi at that time once said that someone you save may kill thousands and later in life, so they are not worth saving. We see Sukuna in a black blob form with his eyes and mouth looming over Megumi, who's looking down. Sukuna tells Megumi to give up living a proper life. Megumi talks back to Sukuna, whose massive black form begins to fade and crack. Megumi's mentality is different after Yuji talked to him in chapter 265, telling him that he would be lonely without Megumi. This hit a nerve with Megumi. Megumi is the one who gave Yuji a second chance at life by sparing him when he didn't have to. That's when Megumi tells Sukuna, why do you sound so desperate? And you see, Megumi makes him see that if he's peeled off by Yuji Itadori, Sukuna will die. Megumi then taunts Sukuna, telling him that Renaissance will surely do significant damage to him. If the 19 of the 20 fingers are destroyed, then the final finger will not connect to his soul and break off because of resonance. Megumi expressed glee, relieved to know that even the king of curses is afraid of death. Megumi concludes with, I never intended to live a proper life from the start. It's a given, but there are so many more people other than yourself in the world. I think I'll try to live for someone else one more time. As Yuji's domain crumbles on top of the building, Megumi and Sukuna fully separate. The dramatic moments leading up to Sukuna's death are some of the most intense in this series. The battles were fierce, with Sukuna facing off against some of the strongest characters in Jujutsu Kaisen universe. That's what made the stakes so high and the tension was palpable, as Sukuna's fate is hanging in the balance. It's becoming clear that Sukuna is also grappling with internal conflict, primarily his own sense of worth, and his struggle to come to terms with his past and find a purpose in the present paved the way for a deeper exploration of his character. The bond he had formed with other characters, particularly Yuji, further complicated his motivations and ultimately contribute to his death. Because Sukuna's actions became increasingly erratic, a testament to the turmoil within him. His bond with Yuji had a profound impact on his motivation as he began to question his own morals and the nature of his existence. This introspection marks a significant shift in Sukuna's character, making his eventual demise just worth it. Sukuna screams in agony as his reincarnation is finally undone. Sukuna appears as a mass of fingers with the center containing his mouth and an eye on the hand appendage. Sukuna's hand attempts to reach out to Megumi, but begins to crumble and falls on the rooftop. Yuji looks down on the cursed form of Sukuna, resembling a fleshy parasite that's slowly shrinking. Yuji had asked, what will Sukuna do? That's when we cut back to the flashback to the time that we was inside Yuji's domain, where Yuji asked Sukuna to release Megumi and return to his body, and he will spare him his life. Yuji invokes the line, Sukuna, you are me. Yuji brings the cursed residuals into his hands. Yuji says, you were born bearing a curse without even knowing it. The monsters we become depend on our circumstances. It just so happens that I have my grandpa, Sukuna. Let's try one more time. Not to curse someone, but to live with someone. Even if no one else accepts you, I can live with you, even by myself. Sukuna is enraged at Yuji's words of sympathy, his soul rising like steam. Sukuna, I'll commend you for playing the fool to the very end. Yuji Itadori, don't underestimate me. I'm a curse after all. This line is a reference to the conversation Sukuna had with Jogo, where the disaster curses believe themselves to be the true human beings, so they must kill other humans. The you are me exchange is a reference to Itadori's final battle with Mahito. Yuji's words of compassion to Sukuna was a different tone Yuji had on Mahito. In that moment in the story, Yuji believed he was a cog in the machine. He said to Mahito, you are me. I wanted to reject you, convince myself that you were wrong, but that doesn't matter now. I'm going to kill you. Even if you come back as another curse, I'll kill you. It doesn't matter if you change your name, change your form. I am going to kill you. The tone then changes when it was directed towards Sukuna, because Yuji no longer believes his mission is to kill curses, but he believes that he can save them now. Yuji stated that he can now empathize with others in a helpless situation, and this empathy also includes Sukuna, which is why Yuji stated that if he returned to his body, he would spare Sukuna's life. But we know that pisses Sukuna off, and that's when we see Sukuna residues fade. We finally return to Hikari and Arame's fight. Arame says that it's finished, with Hikari agreeing. Hikari asks, what will Arame do now? Arame says, I already told you it's the end. Now there's no meaning to anything anymore. Arame says that the only reason why Sukuna was defeated was because he was in an incarnated body. This is true because when we look at how Sukuna was defeated, they attacked his soul, which was highly effective against him. Also, they had Megumi attack him from the inside, dropping his curse output energy to about 10% and hindering his movements. Arame delivers also one of the cold lines, saying that they all were just lucky and that you narrowly escaped death being 1,000 years too late. Himari says that I was just lucky. That's the highest praise a gambler could receive. Arame's body slowly crumbles and they smirk as the iceberg shadow. Arame has chosen to go out on her own terms, unlike Sukuna, who was helplessly left to fade away. Some time passes and we see Megumi has awakened in a room. As he asks Yuji and Nobara what are they up to. We see Nobara hiding in a box and Yubi helps her with the prank, in reference to Yuji announcing that he was alive in the Goodwill arc. Nobara and Yuji stay together, a Kuwasaki survival surprise, but of course Megumi already knew she was alive thanks to her resonance. The three sit together. Nobara complains about how she, the class piece of eye candy, was not given the spotlight for her return. Nobara expected the boys to wet themselves and surprise or cry tears of joy. Yuji says that he did cry a little when the resonance was hit. Megumi said he was not really surprised since he saw everything that happened inside Sukuna. It seems the two boys brush off Nobara could still be alive, similar to how Nobara and Megumi were taken by surprise when Yuji returned to life to the Kyoto Goodwill event. Yuji then takes out 2 letters written by Gojo. Yuji says Shoko gave them to him. Nobara finds it weird that Gojo will write letters to it for anyone. Megumi noticed that there were only 2 letters. Yuji reveals that he did not get one because he already talked to Gojo before the final fight. Nobara reads her letter and instantly is crushed. Nobara says the letter revealed that Gojo knew of her mother's whereabouts, something she did not know about in the first place. Nobara asks if Megumi acquires some kind of special grade status, but as he reads her letter, Megumi starts to laugh, which is odd. They're not used to it, and Yuji and Nobara are curious to see Megumi laughing and trying to read his letter, but they are left speechless by the contents. Megumi's laughing gets into the focus because Gojo tells him, unfortunately, your father isn't around anymore because I killed him. Sorry. And that's where we see Gojo's playful nature. Even though he's being serious, he still has that playful nature. And we see Gojo's signature chibi fate. Gojo 2 letters seems to be about the whereabouts of our protagonist's missing parents, and one is helpful and the other is humorous because again that's how Gojo was with his students. And as the clock ticks, the trio stands up prepared to leave. Nobara then says they must meet up with Maki and everyone else. And Nobara also tells Megumi to attend. Megumi says he has to apologize or thank everyone. Megumi is confused at what's going on, so Yuji tells that it's about Yuta. Yuji says they need to save Yuta's life since Yuta was last seen collapsing in Gojo's body after the copy of Kenjaku's curse technique expired faster than anticipated. That's what we see. Maki, Togi, Panda, Kusakabe. Miwa and Momo walking together. Someone screaming says, "Yuta, you damn bastard." Megumi wonders if this is what saving Yuta's supposed to be like. So just to give you a little bit of a recap of all the stuff that happened today, Sukuna's death was a critical point in the Jujutsu Kaisen universe, driven by his complex character development and the relationships he's formed with other characters. His demise has a far-reaching implication for the story, setting the stage for future plot twists and character arcs. But I want to know, what do you think about Sukuna's fate? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you guys enjoy more Jujutsu Kaisen content, be sure to check out my other videos for in-depth analysis and discussions. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out, y'all.